Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In dark Epoch, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today we are going to do a brief overview of the crafting system. Now, this doesn't need to be taken out of context, though I am level 701. It goes the same through no matter what tier progression you are currently in. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the lowest, and we're going to work up to our highest. So as you're starting out in the early game, you're going to start to notice how you are collecting a lot of gear. You're getting your gear sets filled. But the big thing that you want to keep in mind is you have so many different options. As you can see, you can do upgrades, you can do evolutions and option upgrades and equipment awakenings, rune equipments, luck upgrades, and inherit options. All of these can be very confusing when you're going into a new character, or you're just starting out, or even during the late stages when you have to start prioritizing how you're going to manage all of this stuff over here on the right side. Now, for today's sake, we're just going to focus on the upgrades and the evolutions, as well as some of these others up top, just to kind of give a brief overview of what I would recommend you do during your progression. So starting out through your 0th set, through your 3rd set, these are going to be some of your more common, easier to obtain items. And I say that just because you're going to be stuck in these levels, already progressing, trying to get up to that 3rd set. And then once you hit that 3rd set, that's when things really start to kind of pick up and open up a whole new avenue for your progression style. So starting with gear, of course, you want to always try to shoot for 2E or better gear, and I say that um, and reference it by gear that you can get stars from, and will have a display such as 2E, or for instance, since this is already evolved up to a certain point, it is 6E. So the E stands for evolution, if you haven't guessed by now. Um, so what we can do just to verify is we can go into the auction house. As you can see, we've got 2E Dragon Glove. So this is a 2nd evolution Dragon Glove, um, and it can be upgraded even further. But with that being said, you can also get down here, and now you see E&E Han's Lightning Sword. This would be for your 2nd slot, but you will not be able to upgrade this. And the reason being is because if we go into our crafting menu and look at our upgrade section, you'll notice that ours has a little star right here. So we can go back in here, not there, crafting. Okay, and then we'll go to our 1st or our 2nd set, and notice how ours has the stars there. So essentially there are 2 different types of purple gear that you'll start getting introduced to. Up to your 2nd set, I believe, is where it stops, and then 3rd set and beyond will all be 2E or better, or star gear, some people call it. But essentially, you get your gear. You want to make sure that it is 2E when you first pick it up. That goes ahead and tells us, hey, yes, this can be evolved. And then we want to start upgrading it immediately. So for the 0th set, your max upgrade levels are going to be 11, and I highly recommend that no matter what tier set that you're on, whether it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, regardless, you want to push to at least 11. Because typically after 11, as we can jump down here and see, this one here is plus 15. and your resources per upgrade is very expensive. So this will be for those downtimes to where it's, man, I've completed everything I can. Now you can start investing some of those garnets elsewhere to build those upgrades back up. Now, another thing that comes with these upgrades that it will entice you to continue your progression through this is the set bonuses. So once you hit these certain milestones, you will start to gain additional increases to the base stats on your equipment. So as you can see, when we got everything to +7, we got an additional HP bonus of 15% and attack bonus of 15%. And then it did it again at +9 and then increased our skill damage by 10% on the full 11. That is why getting these upgrades up to that 11 mark is so crucial because again, we can hop back down to say here where we've got everything maxed out. If we were to have stopped off at 11, again, we're still getting the base equipment stats raised up plus 15%, plus 15%, and our skill damage is increased by 10%. Now, if you wish to push that further, you're only then going to get rewarded even further. Um, and these are where the big upgrades come in because, again, they cost a lot, so they obviously have to provide something more. So now you're getting an HP bonus of up to 5%. You're getting your attack boosted 5% if you can get everything to +15. And then once you max it out at +16, it's going to decrease the damage that you take by 5% and then increase that damage again by 5%. So you get a lot of bonuses out of getting your gear fully upgraded. But again, it is not going to be something that you're going to push at the very start of a class change. Your main focus is getting it to +11, and then at that point, if you wish to push further later down the road, when you have the resources, then you have the ability to do so. Um, but essentially, that is all that you really need to know when it comes down to upgrading your gear outside of your accessories. Now, your accessories are going to play a little bit different um, because, again, this is going to be a rare resource, and I say that rare word because the only way that you're going to be able to obtain it is through your daily Icaria missions. For those of you that don't know, that is this one right. I'm gonna have to back up right here. Um, so again, after you reach a level 180, you get your first set of wings. Now you're able to participate in Icaria, and now you can start upgrading your rings, your necklaces, as well as your wings themselves. But there is a big catch. So as we're looking at this, you are only given 2 attempts out of Icaria per day. You have then another chance to purchase an additional 4, depending on your VIP level. Um, and throughout your normal progression, I would highly recommend it because, again, you're going to need some of these upgrades because guess what? You get bonuses off of those too, but they're not going to be functioning like they would through your gear. So you're not going to get prompted that, hey, you've completed all of this down here. But instead, it is going to be something that is going to be tacked on to your gear or to your accessories itself. So as you can see, if we're looking at this ring, of course it says it's maxed out to +15. So let's jump down to something that is not fully maxed out. Okay, here we go. So right here on this necklace, for instance, um, at a certain upgrade level, you're going to start acquiring different bonuses. So you may get a boost to your attack speed by a little bit. You may get a boost to your excellent damage rate. Um, and as you can see here, if I was to make this all the way up to +40, I would get my critical rate increased by 5%. Now, as we all know, when it comes down to critical rate, there is a cap in the game, so you're going to have diminishing returns. So though it says 5%, that does not mean that it is going to push you from 90 to 95% throughout your critical gains. It is going to scale that back a little bit, but yes, you will get some portion of that directed to your critical rate. Um, and then once we start talking about wings, wings again is another big one that can provide some nice upgrades. Unfortunately, it looks like I have maxed out all of mine, but essentially what you would start gaining from these is going to be um, at your option level 3 or getting them to level 3, I believe. Let's see. That is not for this. That is just for all of these upgrades entirely. Okay, so with the wings itself, yes, you want to always try to push to get that higher, but again, it is going to get more expensive once you start unlocking wings because now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 things to level up, and you only have so many resources coming out of Icaria per day. So pace yourself on there. Only upgrade to a certain point that you feel comfortable. Uh, Try to upgrade them evenly. That way you're unlocking bonuses together and getting the most out of it. Now, we'll move away from talking about upgrades for a second and go into evolutions. Because again, this is going to be something that is going to be very big. It is going to be something that is going to be very costly, but it is definitely worth it. So just like the upgrades on both your gear and your accessories, you're also going to get upgrades through here, and this is where that 2E comes into play. So, as you can see from over here on the left, we've only unlocked 1 star because that's what comes standard on our gear when we first pick it up. As you can see, none of these have been evolved. But as you start evolving more and more, uh, on our third evolution, which is what would be considered our first if we were doing this ourselves. But everything that is grayed out is already considered an evolution. That's why when I say 2E gear, that means that it has been upgraded twice up before you picked it up. It inherently has 2 upgrades or 2 evolutions. So you will start to gain all of these stars. Stars is what puts forth points to your constellation chart that allows you to unlock those special nodes for some of the stats that you may not be able to acquire anywhere else for your specific class. Um, but again, you want to try to at least get these to +4. So by getting it to +4 or getting it to 4 stars, so if we were to get it down to, say, right here at the excellent increased crit hit damage plus 3.5%, yada yada. That is going to ensure us that one, we are going to be able to start awakening our gear, but we are also going to be able to start masterworking and getting our sets going onto that gear as well. Um, so everything has a purpose, and it will always go off of the amount of resources that you have access to. For those of you that are running alternate characters to kind of feed your main character either gear or garnets, this is going to be a helpful tool for you. If your main class is a Dark Knight, such as mine is right now, I would then want to go in and create maybe 1 or 2 other Dark Knights to be able to gather more and more gear, because as you can see, if we were to go through here and we say, well, I only have 1 gear piece, I don't want to spend any money on that. Um, and then you click this 100% success rate and it purchases all the gear from the world auction for you. You are going to have a garnet cost. That is also going to come by purchasing these as well. So not only is the game giving you an outlet to being able to make this simplified, but there are a lot of times when you are going into some of these much higher upgrades, and there is just not enough in the auction to be able to make these evolutions and upgrades that you're needing, and it will definitely set you back. Um, So please be mindful as you're going through your progression and you're understanding these things so that you're not making mistakes or you can better prepare yourself going forward. Um, and then we can go move over into the option upgrades. Now, option upgrades, this is technically more of the pay to win side, but at the same time, you will start to notice that you are gathering quite a few of these through various events, whether you're participating and paying to gain some of the event currency or the packages, or you're just going through and completing your dailies, you're going to end up seeing some of these jewels of life pop up from time to time, and this is where you will use them. Now, I don't expect anybody to go through like I have and then get everything up to 12 or 11, um, but you at least want to have one. If you can get one into all of these, it will then turn around and boost your equipment evolution options by 4%. Now, is that going to be huge? Maybe. It might give you that extra oomph that you need in the arena or get you past a Bellator fight in the early stages. Um, but it's all small bonuses that add up over time and reward you for how you meet these milestones. Um, Now, if you're going out and you're doing your first tier all the way up to plus 50, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you right now that is the stupidest thing you could do. If you are really wanting to utilize and benefit from these jewels of life, don't go through and do what I did and get plus 11 on the 0th set, first set or second set. Because yes, you will gain bonuses from them, but you will not gain near as much as what you would off of the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, because now it's not just looking at what the stats is on just that piece of gear. It's looking at the stats that's coming from all of the other stuff. So your master gear, your awaken gear, your sets that you're getting through the set treasure. And it's amplifying those stats to be able to boost you up even higher. So again, please be mindful, and if you have questions, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to guide you through. Um, but as we were talking about awakenings, let's go ahead and move that over. So as you can see, it's automatically jumped us down to our 7th here because this is the newest set that we currently have, and we are locked out of being able to awaken our gear. So in order for us to do that, we are going to have to evolve this gear up to 4 stars, and hence the 4 E's right here. Um, and then we will be able to awaken our gear. Now, awakening is going to be just like evolution in a sense, to where when you get to this point, you will have to start collecting these awakening jewels. You can get these from guild bosses, your auction house, your events. Sometimes you can actually get these from corps as well. Um, and then a lot of your dailies have an opportunity to drop these as well. Um, so you have a lot of outlets that are going to be able to reward you with these resources, and it is going to take 3 awakening jewels per piece of gear to get it max evolved or max awakened. And if you're curious, the max awakening on any piece of gear is going to be 2 levels. So you'll get the initial first one, which costs 1 awakening jewel, followed up by the second, of course, costing 2. Out of your full set, you can only upgrade your weapons, helmet, chest, gloves, pants, and boots, which comes out to a grand total of 21 awakening jewels per set. Um, Again, all of these are going to function like evolution, so they are going to require you to have a lot of gear to put forth to these. Um, so just be mindful and be stocking up for when the time comes that you're going into a class change, then you can start working on your evolutions and then go through with your awakenings. Um, Runes, very self-explanatory. Definitely won't fill too much time here, but runes start off of your second set, 2 runes per piece for a grand total of a lot. You are going to be spending a lot of garnets to get the majority of these runes if you decide that you want to run all purple. Um, by the way, purple is the only one that you can upgrade and socket in skill shards into, I believe, and we can try to verify that by coming here. No, say, okay, only unique runes can be forged. So yes, only the purple runes can be upgraded, and only the purple runes can have skill shards in them. You can find those uh, runes located in the garnet shop under the runes section. Yes, they do get more expensive per opening, but at the same time, you will notice that there's no accessory ones in here. And for the accessory runes, you will have to hop over to the reputation shop, and you will be limited to how many of these you can purchase at any given time. So typically, starting out, you'll have access to 1 because again, you only have 2 runes per piece for your accessories as well as your gear. And then once you get up into the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and going on, you will have access to 4 or 3 different rune slots and be able to purchase 2 of these weekly. Um, so it is going to be a bit of a grind, a progression style thing as always, but it is one of those things that if you're really looking to push your build and your current progression to a whole nother level, taking advantage of those runes is going to be very beneficial to you. As we move over into excuse me, luck upgrades. Now these are very, very unique, and I would highly recommend using them on every single piece of gear, regardless of the different set. Not so much for the default equipment plus 45%. So all of these stats here that you see. Um, so what would be on down here for the default options? So your attack, physical, and minimal. Um, that is going to be boosted by 45%, but that's not really what we're after. Early game progression, we are looking for crit rate. Crit rate is going to be our best friend because that, of course, means that we can hit a lot harder. As you can see, my crit rate is only 89.9%, and I have Luck of Jewels, or the Jewels of Luck, socketed into every single piece of gear from 0th set all the way up to my 6th set. Well, yeah, so want to make sure I'm not putting my foot in my mouth there. Yep, so 0th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and now I'm working on the 7th. Now these Jewel of Lucks, yes, they tend to be a pay-to-win item, but again, you will get these out of your Angel Pass rewards or the Angel Shop, and you can pick them up through limited events, along with, a whole lot of other resources that are going to help your progression as well. Now, here's a big one, and I feel like I could spend a whole day talking just about this alone, and that is the inherit options. So when we are talking about inheriting, there's a lot of times that you'll see, kind of like what I've got going on in my 7th set right now. I am an ENE Dark Knight, but yet I have strength swords. I have an ENE helmet. I have an ENE chest plate, um, ENE pants, and strength boots. So as you've noticed, I've already got these upgraded to plus 13. Now, what happens if I find an ENE weapon piece or a gear piece that I want to turn around and use? Am I going to have to level up everything all over again? And the answer is no. No, you're not. Unless you masterwork this or you turn this into master gear, you can still inherit that into another piece of equipment. So if I had another E&E sword, I would click here, select it from the list, and then I would go and it would show me the preview of the inheritance so that I could verify that yes, all of the upgrades and the stats are transferring over to this, and then I would click inherit option, and it would switch it over to the other piece of gear. Um, that is a quick fix because as you know, once you open up a new class change, it's always a scramble for gear. So you're going to be just equipping just to fill slots so that you can start evolving, so that you can start upgrading, um, and start really working on your progression. And this is the way that you can kind of keep that back on the same path that you're originally planning for. But again, use this as you will. When it comes down to your um, Archangel weapons, so just like this here. Now, any weapon can turn into an Archangel or can be transferred over into an Archangel weapon. Um, with the same kind of work. So essentially, what you would then have to do, because it's not always going to tell you that, oh, I've got a better piece of gear here, I'm going to go ahead and change over. Most of the times, it's going to say, all right, we see that you have this sword, and it's already leveled up plus 15, and you've already evolved it, and you've already masterworked it, but you have this ruined Archangel weapon. This is where you would come in to do that. So you would have to come in here, manually select the weapon, select your Archangel weapon, and then you would have to do all of that manually. And the reason why they do that is because there's sometimes that you don't want to do that. For instance, especially with the regular Archangel weapons, because there's a lot of times that people are really trying to save those so that they can make the blessed ones. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can come into the Combine tab over to Advanced Equipment, and then you can look down here at the Tier 5, Tier 6, or Tier 7 Blessed Archangel, and it is going to require you to have 2 normal Archangel weapons. And that is why when you go and you finish a castle siege and you win that right to be able to purchase that Archangel weapon, it does not automatically inherit itself. Um, because once they released this little medallion over in the diamond shop, let's see here, right here, that Archangel marking, and it is used to combine those 2 of the normal Archangel weapons into the blessed. That is why they do not allow you to automatically inherit your Archangel weapons. But that is just a brief overview of all of this. I know I said brief just then. This video is 29 minutes long. Um, but I hope it was a good explanation, a good understanding for you all, and I hope you were able to take something away from it to either guide you through future playthroughs, or if you're trying to help out some newer players, or if you are a new player and you're just looking for a little bit of guidance. I hope that if you do have questions, you reach out to me, you reach out to the community. There are so many helpful people that are popping up all over the place now, and it just makes me so proud to know that, we have such a strong community. Um, but with all of that being said, guys, I am Delusions, and I am out. Have a great day.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen,